Ask Abby, providing answers, insights, and education designed to give you the tools and knowledge you need to thrive financially and live confidently in retirement.
Here with Abby Reed of the Retirement Family at Reed Financial Group. And Abby, I know that at Reed Financial Group, you help a lot of people gain more confidence and clarity in their financial status, their planning, and their financial future. A lot of people come in with the simple question, am I ready to retire, or do I have enough? And you go through a process to help them answer that question with confidence.
That's right. One of the most common questions people have and people want to work with us on is, am I ready to retire? Or how much do I need in order to retire? Am I on the right track to retire when I want to retire? Those type questions. And so we've developed a list of 12 questions to ask yourself. And they're really going to help you understand if financially you are in a place or close to a place where you're going to be able to retire and have a secure and comfortable retirement that you want to have.
Not, oh, I'm so sick of work, I am ready to retire, but actually financially prepared to face the potential 25 to 35 years or more of unemployment and be and remain financially confident. So these are 12 important questions to have confident answers to if you want to retire, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know how ready you are. So Abby, let's get into it. What are the 12 questions we need to address?
All right, so let's go through them one by one and talk a little bit about each one. So number one is, do you know how long you're going to be able to generate the income or essentially pay yourself if your paycheck stopped today? So if you retired today, how long would your portfolio last, given your expenses, given the lifestyle that you want to live, or even your current lifestyle right now, just to keep it a little bit simple, how long would your portfolio last? And if you don't know the answer to that question, that's going to be a really good place to start before you start getting too far down the road of thinking about, retiring this year, next year, those type things. All right, number two, have you identified and calculated your retirement income gap? Meaning, do you know the number between your guaranteed income and your expenses? So if there's a gap there, if you don't have enough guaranteed income to cover at least your essential expenses, that's the income gap, and that needs to be solved for. Also, a lot of times what we do is figure out your discretionary income as well and include that in the income gap. Number three, do you know how much you have available in discretionary assets above what you need to generate retirement income? So that means not only do you have assets that are allocated to generating that income you need, but do you have other assets as well for emergencies, for, the vacations that you want to take, for expenses that are above and beyond just those essential expenses in retirement, monthly income. Number four, do you know if your portfolio is properly diversified to provide enough as far as growth, safety, liquidity, and income? Is it properly allocated, or was it allocated 10, 20 years ago when you were in a much, much different situation? Number five, do you review things annually? Do you review your plan annually to assess if you've met your previous goals and also to set goals going forward? So not only are you looking backwards and doing an assessment, but you're also pre-planning and doing some forward thinking. Need to do that annually, at least, maybe even more often if you're right on the cusp of wanting to retire. Number six is, have you formulated a plan to efficiently use Social Security to maximize that income and protect your own personal assets? Social Security can be one of our biggest assets in retirement. And so we want to maximize your lifetime, or you and your spouse's lifetime benefit from that.
Going through a list of 12 questions to have answers to in order to know confidently that you are ready to retire. By the way, if you would like this list of 12 questions to go over on your own time, or if you would like to sit down with experienced, qualified professionals to go over your answers, formulate your answers, and really get that written plan in place, you are always welcome to give Abby Reed and the retirement family at Reed Financial Group a call, 678-442-0255, 678-442-0255. Abby, halfway through this list of 12 must-answer questions to know if we are ready to retire. Well, let's round out the last half.
Absolutely. And something that I'd like to mention as well is if you are not sure of the answer to these questions, or maybe you don't have an answer, it's okay. And that's pretty normal. We have a process to help you formulate the answer to each of these. And that's really our retirement planning process. It's to help you get there with each of these questions. So number 7, do you know how you would cover costs as far as medical costs, so health insurance, those type things above and beyond Medicare? That's not going to cover everything, as well as long-term care. That is one of the most, I would say, least thought about things. It's kind of in the back of everybody's minds. A lot of times people don't know how much they need for potential long-term care expenses. It's not a fun conversation to have, but it's crucial. And otherwise, very solid income and investment plan can be completely derailed if there's not a long-term care plan as well, and a plan for additional medical costs. Number 8, have you looked at a survivorship income plan? Meaning, have you calculated what your spouse would continue to receive if you passed away, and vice versa? So do you have the income numbers if something unfortunately happens to one of you earlier than expected? It's incredibly important because the income typically does drop, and we need to have a plan for that, especially knowing that going in gives the spouses, both parties, typically a lot of peace of mind knowing that they'll be okay.
Abby, most people don't fully realize, I think, when they are claiming and collecting Social Security, that when they pass away between a married couple, one of the checks will go with them. The survivor gets to continue receiving the larger of the amounts, but that's as little as a 1/3 decrease in income, as much as potentially a 50% decrease in Social Security income for that surviving spouse.
That's right. So when one spouse passes away, basically the lower benefit is going to drop off. So the higher benefit will remain, but that's still a reduction in income because we look at things as an aggregate. So it's the total income for spouses. It's not two different individuals. That's not really how it works with income planning and retirement planning. So as a whole, that income is going to drop. And then if we have pensions involved and there was anything other than 100% survivorship option chosen, which happens quite a bit, I would say maybe half of the time, then that's going to be another decrease in income, whereas expenses do not decrease as much as those income sources decrease. And so that's got to be planned for. We're going to have to typically maybe pull from other resources, and it can put a spouse unintentionally, of course, in a very difficult situation at the worst time possible.
And taxes go up at that same time. So we got to plan and prepare for that kind of double whammy in the wrong direction. Abby, number 9 on your list of these 12 essential questions to know if we're ready to retire.
Yes. Number 9. So do you know the cash flow rate that your life savings will need to generate in order to meet your lifestyle needs, your retirement needs? So what is that cash flow rate or withdrawal rate, if you will? What is that maybe percentage? And is that doable? Is that safe? And how do you figure that out? Number 10, do you know the percent of your working income you will need to support your lifestyle in retirement? So how much of what you're bringing in right now are you going to need to continue to bring in, just in a different way, in retirement? Maybe looking at your expenses, those type things, which we'll talk about in just a second here. Number 11 is going to be about taxes, everybody's favorite subject. Do you know how much of your income, your retirement assets will be going towards paying taxes in retirement, and how much of your retirement account withdrawals you'll actually be keeping. So your net, if you will. So what's going to go into your pocket, and what are you going to have to hand Uncle Sam and the IRS? That's very important. Taxes are the one of, if not the biggest expenses in retirement, especially because these days, most people have at least 90% of their life savings in tax deferred assets, meaning that has never been taxed, and you better believe they're going to tax it one way or another. And that's typically when you're going to withdraw it and actually want to use it. So that, hopefully big lump sum that you're looking at is not all yours, unfortunately. So we've got to know how much of that's going to taxes and how much you're going to get to keep. And then last but not least, do you have an income plan? So do you have a written income plan where it's at least a blueprint of where you're getting your paycheck from each year, your paychecks and your playchecks, as we call them, which accounts are going to be tapped first? When is Social Security going to be turned on? When are maybe some other sources of income going to be turned on? At least having just like when you would go to build a house, you might change those plans and adjust them as you go along and learn some new things, and things change, but you've got to at least have a starting point. And that's the blueprint. That's the written income plan that you can hold in your hands and look at with you and your spouse, if that applies, and know at least in general, this is the general plan. This is what we're going to be able to generate each year. This is what we're going to take home after, including inflation and after taxes, after Medicare costs. And that gives people a lot of peace of mind. So if you don't have that, that's one of the things that is, I think, most impactful when we do our retirement planning process, is that written income plan that we continue to tweak and change as needed.
12 important, essential questions that you need to have confident answers to, ladies and gentlemen, on this report. Are you ready to retire? And if you are uncertain about any of these questions, then Abby at Reed Financial Group, the Retirement Family, you have a process that you walk people through in order to know where their answers are to each of these 12 questions, and can they be confident in moving into retirement?
That's right. So we go through these one by one and make sure that if you don't have a solid answer, a yes, that you're very confident in, and a plan that you're really confident in, we help you get there. That's what we do. It's what we specialize in. And this is a very a good starting point to get people thinking about the things that they need to be thinking about, because it's different than it is in the accumulation phase. It's just a whole different process. The rules are completely different. So we're going to give this to whoever thinks it'll be useful. How prepared are you? So you can sit down with you or you and your spouse and start to think about these things, and then determine if you might need some help in those areas.
Yeah, if you would like the list of the 12 questions to know if you are ready to retire, to reflect on and evaluate on your own time for your own situation, or maybe a spouse, a family member, a coworker is talking about retiring, want to make sure that they're thinking about the right things, give a call, request the list, or the true value, the opportunity to get together with Abby Reed and the team from Reed Financial Group to formulate your answers and your plan for retirement in a complimentary review and strategy session. For either of those opportunities, pick up the phone, give Reed Financial Group a call. 678-442-0255, 678-442-0255. You can also always visit online, goaskabby.com, goaskabby.com, and just request the form there in the contact form. So again, Abby, always a pleasure to have you here on the program going over important financial topics each and every week, but I really like this list and the resource and report that you have put together and available.
Thanks, Peter. It's always a pleasure.
Here to answer your financial questions, visit the website goaskabby.com for show resources and to submit your questions and get answers, or to schedule your complimentary financial investment and retirement planning strategy session. You can also reach out to Abby directly at 678-442-0255. That's 678-442-0255, or at goaskabby.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and RE Financial Group are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents. Third-party ratings and recognitions are no guarantee of future investment success and do not ensure that a client or prospective client will experience a higher level of performance or results. These ratings should not be construed as an endorsement of the advisor by any client, nor are they representative of any one client's evaluation.